going to be learning about combining like terms. The student project you're going to be working on after we have gone through this is Pixon Comic. By the end of the class and by the end of this video, I want students to be able to identify like terms in algebraic expressions, like same variable and same exponent, combining like terms to simplify expressions, and also being able to explain in your own ways or through your own creative medium why like terms can only be combined. Before we start talking about the math, I would want you to look at this picture here. Obviously, we have different variations of fruits. Now, my question is to you, if you were to combine these to be able to count them, how would you do it? If you said putting the similar things together, that would be right for the math that we are learning today, aka putting the strawberries together, the bananas together, and the oranges together. Obviously, this is not the only right answer to this problem, but with what we are learning today, it is the right track. Now, before we go into the math, I do want to walk you through what you're going to have to do. This is Pixton. You are basically going to be creating a comic. The restrictions for the comic and the needs are going to be in the course description for this day. To walk through it, you're basically just going to click New Project here, and you should have this up. You want it to be a comic, and obviously you'll have these little blockers. You click where you want it, you find a background of anyone that you choose. I'll just choose this one for now. And then you can go to backgrounds, which you have here. You can look up in this little search bar here, whatever kind of scenery you want. You can create characters, pick general characters, find some here. Within the characters, you can make them do certain things. So let's say we click my character here. Now that I have my character and I click on my character, you can have faces, you can have movements, outfits, and all that stuff. Above here, you have add speech, where you can put in what the people are saying. You have characters that you can add, props you can put in, and you can put top and bottom and page descriptions of what is going on. The restrictions, again, are going to be in the course module for the day. Please do follow those to a T and make sure you have everything on there. This comic will have to be representing what you learn in this video or what you learned in class today. Okay, we're going to start with the math now. And we're going to basically walk you through a couple examples. So the first example we're going to start off with is 2x plus 3y plus 4x. Now, to start this off, we have to understand the terminology we're using, which is exponents and variables. Variables are these little numbers here. The x's, the y's, they can be quite literally any number you want. Now, exponents are when you have this little number up here. So let's say we have the 4x squared. That exponent is that too. Now, with that in mind, we'll start off with the basic line here. 2x plus 3y plus 4x. Going back to the idea of the strawberries and the fruits, you're going to apply the same method with the x's and the y's. The best way to do this is if you get a highlighter. Have two different kinds since we have two different variables. What two things have the same variable? If you said this 2x and this 4x, you'd be right. That now leaves us with this 3y. Going back to the idea again of the fruits, The only things that we can combine is the 2x to the 4x. Do not combine the 3y. You just want to group those two together. You want to pay specific attention to the signs in front. There is no negative sign in front of the 2, and there is a plus in front of the 4, which means you add the 2 and the 4, which then gives you 6x. Then, once you've done that, you carry down the plus 3y. Now, x and y are not the same variable, which means you cannot combine that 6 and that 3, which means you have simplified this equation down as far as it can go. The same applies for if we have, let's say, 4x plus 3y plus 5y plus 2x. Going back in with our highlighter, we have the similar x's and we have the similar y's. Knowing that, combine them together. You put together the 4 and the 2, since they have the same x, to give you 6x. You put a plus. What other variables do we have? If you said that 3 and that 5, you would be correct. So you put those together. You have an 8y, and you are done there. Now, if we did the same thing, 4x, 3y, 5y, 2x. Let's say we're adding this one, subtracting this one, and adding this one. This is when we have to focus on the signs. Again, we have the similar y's and we have the similar x's, so we can still combine those together. Luckily for us in this equation, the x's aren't that different since they both have the adding sign here. So, since they have that, that comes out to 6x. But the big difference here is we now have a minus dealing with the y's, which means you have to subtract them. So now, instead of it being plus 8y, it is minus 2y. Why is that? Because if we take 3 minus the 5, we get negative 2, because it went into the negative region in our number line. So far we've learned to not only combine like terms, as seen here, even if they get bigger, and they can have more than 2 of the similar ones. We can also have moments where it's, let's say, 3xy plus 4z plus 2xy. Seeing as these two are the same, you can still combine them, but that's for a later time. We've also learned the fact that you have to pay attention to the signs. The second the minus signs come in, or negative, we start having complicated matters. Finally, the last thing we need to go over is the exponents. So, let's go back to up here. 2x plus 3y plus 4x, and let's make it squared. Now, here's the thing. We have our x, we have our y, we have our x, and you would think we were done. But we are not. This is a big, big mistake. Because the second this x had the power of 2, this can no longer go to that x. It is its own component. So now, instead of just having basic strawberries, bananas, strawberries, we now have strawberries, bananas, and oranges. With that being in mind, let's do 2x plus 3y plus 4x minus, let's do y minus 2x squared plus 4x squared. So now this looks long and chunky. Get out your highlighter. The longer it gets, the more complicated and confusing it will be. Your highlighter is your best friend. First, let's start off with this first variable, x. Do we see any other x's? If you say that 4x, you're right. Next, let's look at the y's. Do we have any other y's? Yes, if you said this one y, you're right. Now, x squared, obviously we only have one left, which is this one right next to it. So, first, let's deal with this 2x here. The ones combining it is the 4x. What sign's in front of the 4x? That is a plus, which means we do not have to worry too much about it. That comes out to 6x. Now let's look at the y's. See anything different? If you said the fact that the y on its own is minus, which makes it negative, you would be right. But seeing as 3 is greater than the 1, our variable is now just 2y, which is staying positive. Now, we've gotten through these, and we've gotten through these. Now we just got to combine these. We do have that 2x squared that is negative, and that 4x squared, which is positive. Again, the 4 is bigger than the 2, which now makes it positive. So now we just have plus 2x squared. That's it for this right now. There are worksheets in the module for you to work on. Please do the Pixton before it is due, and thank you for watching this video.